Hey, good morning, everybody. It is 7 o'clock. It's Tuesday morning, and check it out. I've got my cup of a good Texas brand of coffee, and we're going to have an enjoyable day. Yesterday was Labor Day, so any Monday holiday just throws my week off. I don't know if that's the case with you, but a Monday holiday just throws my week into chaos. But Labor Day was very productive yesterday. I know you're supposed to take Labor Day off. You're supposed to go to the beach. You're supposed to have picnics. A better a better experience of Labor Day would have been cooking a brisket. But you know what? It was hot down here. It was probably too hot to be nursing a brisket on a smoker in this heat. But instead, some of us, there was about 10 of us that went over to Orange, and we helped drag limbs to the roadside for homeowners. We did a lot of good, we sweated a lot. But I know myself, for myself personally, we needed to be purged from all the impurities that were within, and that sweating really helped do a good cleansing. But it's just it was providential that we got to do that service yesterday. I had planned on a whole sermon series for the month of September based on our calling, not just my calling, your calling, everybody who's a Christian, everybody's calling to serve. You and I are servants. And the principal act from God to us that makes us servants is that Christ served us first. Yeah, I try to make the point really strong and really clear in church Sunday morning that we can't earn God's love. We can't do anything that makes us deserving of His grace. God served us first, and if we're going to be Christ-like, if we're going to be Christian, that makes us servants. We have to serve those around us. Jesus told the one who stopped him on the road and said, "What's the greatest commandment?" And Jesus said, "Love the Lord your God with all your strength, all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul." And the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. Well, you really can't love your neighbor without serving them. And when we see a need around us, we serve our neighbors. So I want to tell everybody a blanket good morning, man. Y'all got on here really quick, and I appreciate that for an early Tuesday morning. We just sent our youngest off to high school today. I tell you what, I pray for these kiddos. I pray for the teachers. I pray for the administration, because this has been already a difficult year. And I'm just going to pray that everything goes smoothly today. And I hope you all will join me in that prayer, because prayer is one of the ways that we can serve one another. And for the next few weeks, we're going to be relying heavily on this devotional book that Christy and I put together. This was supposed to accompany our Lord's Supper, which some people have got to enjoy the Lord's Supper that went out from our church on Fox 4 Beaumont on the television. Our Facebook has been corrupted over the past couple of weeks, and because of the big evacuation from Hurricane Laura, we weren't able to have it when we expected to have the Lord's Supper. But we're gonna observe the Lord's Supper this Sunday, and we're gonna start a sermon series that will go along with this book. Well, the book goes along with the sermon series, but check it out. In this book, we got sermon notes. We're going to make sure that our Facebook is working. It's going to be useful. It's going to be beneficial. And everything that goes on inside the church is going to be broadcast outside the church. But here's a devotional thought this morning. It's a thought that comes from some of the early pages of this book. It asks the question, or raises the thought, what is Christ doing for you? We we've talked extensively about what Christ has done for us. He came to earth, born into poverty and obscurity. He lived a life of kind of a wandering holy man, the Messiah that had no place to lay his head, and yet he called people to himself. He preached the gospel and performed signs, wonders, and miracles to testify that he is the Son of God. And ultimately, the greatest thing that he did for us, he laid down his life for us. Nobody took it from him. He laid his life down for us as an atoning sacrifice for our sin, not for his sin, for our sin. But just as freely as he laid his life down, freely he took it back up again so that we could share in the victory of salvation. We could share in the hope of glory. If you share in that hope of glory, put a big heart on there, put an amen, put something on there, because that's what unites us in a Christian spiritual fellowship, is that we have that common hope of glory because of what Christ has done for us. But, Christ didn't only do something for us long ago. Christ is doing something for us, in us, and through us right now. And that's how we're able to serve the Lord and serve others. It's because Christ is active in our existence. God has not just left us to our devices. He is present to us. And I love this thought from the Apostle Paul. Now, if you were traveling along with me, checking in with me during the summer, we talked extensively about Moses. Excuse me, folks. Let me clear my voice with a strong drink of some good cafe au lait coffee. Much better, much better. Now listen, Moses, when he went up to the mountain, when he would meet with God, his face shone, and he had to put a veil on his face. First of all, people were afraid, but Paul tells us that Moses had to put that veil on his face because that glory that was shining from Moses was a decreasing glory. Paul is saying this because he was getting us ready. He's getting us prepared intellectually and spiritually to know that there was going to be a greater covenant. That all that Moses wrote and said and gave to the people was going to be superseded. It was going to be completed by the work of Jesus. Jesus and Moses are friends, but Jesus is greater than Moses. I said that time and time and time again. So Paul takes up that thought of us reflecting upon God, reflecting upon what he's doing, and how God is changing us. Now listen, this is our devotional task, not just for today, but for every day. It's that we would meditate upon what God is doing in our lives, what he desires from us and of us, and that through that reflection, through that meditation, through that giving ourselves to him, devoting ourselves to what he desires, we would be transformed to be able to do what the Lord wants us to do. It kind of fulfills the Lord's Prayer, doesn't it? Where Jesus says, "Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven." Just imagine, we're so weak and powerless right now. Everything around us makes us feel pretty small. I know a hurricane coming through makes us feel pretty small. But the Lord empowers us as we maintain that dynamic, life-giving connection with him. He empowers us to overcome our challenges. He empowers us to overcome the obstacles that life throws at us. He empowers us to do the things that honor him and benefit us. Okay? It's always good to do what the Lord wants because it honors him and it benefits us. Listen to what Paul says in 2 Corinthians 3:18. "And we all who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory are being transformed into his image with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is Spirit." Now, listen, As we reflect upon who God is, we are transformed, as Paul would say in Romans 12, by the renewing of our mind. We come into this world, our mind's a little bit of a blank slate. It's given over to the frailty and fragility and the fault of the original sin. But the Lord transforms that. He transforms it as we pursue Christ in faith. Faith filters up from the heart and transforms the mind. So when we get together and we reflect upon what God is doing for us, how he is working around us, and how he desires to use us, the Lord transforms us. We are being transformed into his image. As Baptists particularly, we like to talk about, how a person gets saved. But saved is not just landing at a point in chronological time or being in the right place at the right time. Being salvation is truly directional. It's always going towards God. It's where God changes our direction. Now, the point where God changed the course of our lives and our destiny is the point where we got saved. But from that point on, we're always being led towards the Lord with ever increasing glory, with ever increasing intimacy, with ever increasing obedience, with ever increasing trust. See, these are directional things. We are following our good shepherd, just like we talked about Sunday. We're following the sound of his voice. We're living life as he desires that we live our life, and we're doing good for ourselves and doing honor to him. You see, we're connected as a community of saints that are set apart. Saints really means just holy ones or separate ones. We're to be separate from the world. We're to be different. And Christ, he claims us as his own, and he sends us out to serve the world with our testimony, to serve the world with our strength, to serve the world with our energy, our skills, our spiritual gifts, our talents. All we have to do is open up our eyes and we will see areas of service that we can apply ourselves to. But it always springs from this principle. Christ served us first. And because he served us, we're able, and we have an example in serving others. Christ empowers us with his presence. I love how Matthew concludes his gospel. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all, they share the same story, but they come at it at different angles. They enter the story at different times. Mark, really starts with the baptism of Jesus, the preaching of Jesus. Matthew and Luke go way back. Luke starts at the nativity, but picks up the genealogy. Matthew starts with the genealogy. John just starts with eternity past. John says, "In the beginning, the very beginning, was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." But how a story begins and how it ends is very important. In the last verse of the book of Matthew says this, "And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." Jesus is with us personally in the difficult times. And we can all attest to that. We've had difficult times here. We're going through a difficult year. I don't know how historians are going to reflect back on 2020, but I know as Christians, we're going to reflect back and we're going to say God was with us. We might not say it was a lot of fun, but we're going to say God was with us. God was with his children in the difficult times, in the desert wanderings, in the Babylonian captivity. God was with his children every step of the way, and God is with us. His presence is a constant comfort to us, encouraging us and keeping us going, but also animating us to be able to serve. It's because Christ served us that we are compelled to serve. Do you remember what Jesus did? And I referred to this in my sermon on Sunday. Do you remember what Jesus did at that first Lord's Supper. Now, it's not written about in Matthew or Luke's account. It's in John's account. In John's account of that last meal Jesus shared with his disciples, he got up from where they were eating and he took a bowl of water, a basin of water, and a towel, and he began washing the disciples' feet. And, Peter kind of balked at it. Peter, recognizing, hey, this is my Messiah. This is my Savior. This is my Rabbi. This is my Lord. He says, no, you're not going to wash my feet. And Jesus said, unless I wash your feet, you have nothing to do with me. You have no part in what's going on here. And Peter said, well, wash all of me then. Don't just wash my feet. Wash everything. And Jesus said, no, Peter, you've already had bath. You're clean. But when he was through, he said this to them. He said, just as I have done for you, you need to do for each other. You need to do for your neighbor. You need to do for those that are hurting. So we have an opportunity to serve. We have an opportunity and an example in service in that Christ showed us the meaning of service. It means that we humble ourselves first before God, then before our neighbor. There's no one that we claim any superiority over. We serve because we have been loved, and because we've been loved, we're able to love in tangible ways, in real ways, whether it's picking up sticks, whether it's helping rearrange furniture, whether it's, just sitting with someone who's lonely and talking and listening and visiting. We find ways where we can serve one another. And, if you're looking for that place to serve, just get still before God and allow him to reveal to you where he needs you the most, because like a good shepherd, Jesus is leading us. Let me just read this. This is from this page that's given the title, What Christ is Doing for You. It says, Jesus leads his people like a shepherd. The good shepherd goes in front of his flock, calling each individual lamb by name, leading them into the abundant pastures. Jesus cares for us when we are hurting, encourages us when we're faltering, and rescues us when we go off course. And he does that so that we might participate in the work that God is doing right here, right now. Being a Christian isn't just about having a post-mortem reward. It's about being a right here, right now blessing to others because we've been so richly blessed by God. So I just want to ask you today, like I've asked people on Sunday morning, are you listening to the voice of your shepherd? Are you making time in your life, in your schedule, to listen to him on a daily basis? Now, I want to help you to do that, Tuesday mornings, Thursday evenings, and Saturday mornings. We're going to get back on schedule. Hurricane Laura had us off for a week, but let's look forward to being together. In fact, tomorrow night, today feels like Monday to me because it was Labor Day yesterday. It's really kind of starting the work week today, but we're going to have prayer meeting at the church Wednesday night, 6 o'clock. I'm going to go back to getting back into those normal type schedule things that I've been longing for. Listen, let's take these opportunities when we get together to encourage one another to listen to the voice of our good shepherd so that he might show us how we can minister to and serve our neighbors, our family, our church, our community. But ultimately, as we serve all of those, we're really serving the Lord, aren't we? So serve the Lord today. Do it with gladness, and may your joy be multiplied in knowing that you're serving the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Listen, hey, if I can pray for you in any way, reach out to me. If you need a copy of this book to go along with us for the next few weeks, send me a message just on Facebook Messenger or call the church. And we will get you one. But God bless y'all today. I hope y'all are having a great Tuesday morning.